Hi boys and girls, I am so excited to be with you again for the 3rd and 4th grade science club. So welcome back to my home. It's kind of cool that you guys get to come into my home and see where I do all my lesson prepping and planning and grading and all those great things. So welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about plants and animals. And remember, we're talking about Earth's resources. So we're talking about plants and animals as resources for us to use. Now, we've also been talking this whole time about how we are to be good stewards of the things that God has given us, right? God has given us dominion over the plants and animals in the earth, and we're to be good stewards over these things, right? So we can use these resources, but we need to be good stewards of these resources. As always, we're going to start with our vocabulary word. So here it is. Feel free to pause the program to write this in your glossary. Okay, the word that we have for today is conservation, and that's preserving and protecting the environment. And because we want these resources to last a long time, it's important that we take good care of the resources we have, right? So we don't want to chop down all the trees. We want to be careful that we're chopping down trees and using trees that are going to come back quickly and easily. And we also want to protect our animals, and that means looking at their habitats and not destroying their habitats and letting them be able to go and do the things that they do. Actually, sometimes part of conservation is having a hunting season. And so my uncle lives in New York, and they have a deer hunting season. And I was a little girl, and I was like, I can't believe that you go and you shoot these poor deer, and oh, these deer. And he said, well, let me explain to you why we do this. He said, if we did not, they do not have natural predators. If we did not kill these deer, and they don't kill all of them, they're only allowed to kill so many, especially the females. They're only allowed, I believe that they're only allowed one female, and then they can kill a few other, I say kill, they can shoot a few other males. And he said, if we didn't do this, they would die from starvation. They would just run out of resources. And so we are their natural predators, and there's only a short time that they're allowed to go, and they're only allowed to shoot so many. And sometimes that changes. You know, they adjust the hunting season, looking at the population of the deer. And then my uncle, he doesn't just shoot them for fun. He actually uses the meat. And so then he goes and he processes the deer, and we always have Christmas morning. It's a family tradition. We have venison sausage and cinnamon rolls and fruit for Christmas morning. And that's something that we all look forward to. I make the cinnamon rolls. Oh, Mr. Sylvie is nodding the camera. Yes, we enjoy that. And so sometimes hunting season is part of this conservation effort to protect the environment and protect the animals in the environment. Also, there was a famous Cajun dish that came out, and it was blackened redfish. And it was delicious, but what ended up happening is everybody wanted to fish for redfish, and they got overfished. So then they came out and said, you cannot catch redfish. If you catch redfish, you have to put them right back into the water because they were dying off. And so over time, they were able to reproduce and repopulate, and so now you can fish for redfish. So there's things that, you know, the hunting and fishing industry, they regulate that carefully to make sure that they're protecting the animals that are there. And it's very important to follow the rules, because game wardens who enforce the rules of hunting and fishing, they have a lot of power. And they will definitely fine you, and you'll be in big trouble if you don't follow the rules. My husband gets a fishing license every year, and with that comes a big, thick book of all the rules for fishing. And hunting, I think hunting is in there as well. And I love to read it. I find it absolutely fascinating. I know that's so weird, but I'm like, ooh, you got your book with all the rules. Because it's part of this conservation. It's part of protecting and preserving the environment and the animals that are in the environment. And so conservation, that's what we're kind of looking at today. Animals and plants as resources. So the first thing we're going to do is we're gonna cut out our Bible verse. So you have this page, I put 2. Oh, I don't have my scissors. Okay, Mr. Sylvie, can you hold this page and they can look at the Bible verse? And I'm gonna go run really fast and get my scissors so fast. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay, I'm here. All right, so I hope you have your scissors too. You don't have to run and go get them. You can actually pause this video and go and get your scissors. So I have my scissors and I'm going to cut out our Bible verse. There's 2 on this page because we have some siblings in our class and I figured it'd be nice for mom to print out 1 page instead of having to print out 2 pages. So I'm gonna cut out our Bible verse. There's our Bible verse right there. And we are gonna glue it. Remember, we have our unit title page that says Earth's Resources, and I'm sure yours is much prettier than mine is, right? You have your Earth's Resources unit title page, and then the next page over is your Bible verse page, and you're gonna go ahead and glue this in. This is our 4th one, which means it's probably gonna be about there, right? So go ahead and glue that in. Okay, if you need more time, go ahead and pause. Now I'm gonna read this Bible verse. I'm gonna turn this around just like as if you had it. God said, "Look, I have given you all the plants that have grain for seeds and all the trees whose fruits have seeds in them. They will be food for you. I have given all the green plants as food for every wild animal, every bird of the air, and every small crawling animal." And it happened. God looked at everything he had made, and it was very good. Evening passed and morning came. This was the 7th day. So we see right here who's talking. It tells us right at the very top of the verse who is talking. God is talking, and he says, "Look," which is really cool because I can just picture God saying, you know, like waving his hand saying, "Look, and look, I have given you all the plants." So God is speaking to Adam and Eve, and he is saying, "I've given you all of these things, all of the trees for food for you and for the animals as well." And I think that's really cool because God has given dominion and rule for, he's given Adam and Eve the ability to rule over the earth. And he also is very clear that he's given us the plants for us to use as food. So you don't need to feel bad about pulling out those carrots and those potatoes, eating them up, okay? Because that is God's plan and design. Okay, so this is our verse, and it shows us that God has given the plants for us to use as a resource. Okay, so next we are going to move on to this page here. And this is how do people use plants? And so I sent this page to your mom, so make sure you have it. And you're going to classify these pictures as from plants or not from plants. Now, one thing I'm a little nervous about is, you know, sometimes I'll shrink down these pages with my printer, and I couldn't do that. Let me see if this will fit like this. Ooh, it's gonna fit, yay. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I want you to chop off the top, like that. And I want you to chop off the side, like that. And I want you to chop off the bottom, like that. And I want you to separate these 2 pieces like that. And then we're going to turn to your next blank page. Never mind all that. Okay. Next blank page. And I want you to glue this into your notebook just like that onto your next blank page. If you need to pause the program so you can do that, feel free. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we have this strip of paper and we have this. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna sort these into if they're from plants or not from plants. So let's go ahead and cut these out and sort them as from plants or not from plants. what I love about this activity is it really helps you to look around and realize how much you use that comes from plants. It's really quite amazing. And if you don't ever stop to think about it, you may not notice how much you use that comes from plants. So it's important to be good stewards of these plants that we have. I like to shop at IKEA sometimes, and you know, we always build all that furniture, and they always talk about some different, like their baskets and things. They always say that they're from, I can't remember the word they use, renewable plants or something. Basically, they're fast growing plants, so they can come back quickly. So like they'll have like grass baskets or bamboo, and they say that those come back quickly and grow quickly. So it's a good resource to use. I like that they think about those things. All right, I'm all cut. If you need more time to cut, feel free to pause. Okay, now that we're all cut out, let's go ahead and sort. So I'm just gonna kind of flip these around so you can see these, like that. Oh, look, scissors. Remember I just ran to go get those? Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna start with the scissors because that was a very important resource for me just a few minutes ago. I was running for those scissors. So scissors are usually made, like mine, out of metal and plastic. And this can come from the earth, from like ore in rocks. The metal comes from that, and the plastic actually comes from is a petroleum product. Remember we learned about oil and gas, and so neither one of these come from plants. So this is not from plants. And let me see here. I'm gonna call this a paper cup. Okay, so we're gonna call this a paper cup. And a paper cup is gonna come from plants. Now I did these two, and I want you to go ahead and pause the program, and I want you to go ahead and sort the other ones that are here, and then we will check the answers together. So go ahead and sort, don't glue them down yet, and then we'll check them at the end. Okay, how did your sorting go? Do you feel like you did a good job on your sorting? So let's go ahead and go over the answers together. This looks like a pen to me, and pen is usually made out of plastic, right? And so this is going to be not from plants. Plastic is not from plants. This looks like a wooden table, and wooden table comes from wood, trees. So this is from plants. This is a ring. I have my ring here. Mr. Sylvie gave me this ring. I love my ring a lot. I've worn it every day since he gave it to me. How many years ago? 20? Almost 20 years ago? Almost. And it does not come from plants. There's a stone in there, and this is a metal, so it's rocks and minerals, and so this is not from plants. So that will go there. This looks like a glass, and it comes from sand actually, which is a rock, and so this is not from plants. Okay, now I don't know if they're talking about the actual cereal or the box, but it works for either one. The cereal comes from oats, and oats is a plant, and the box comes from paper that comes from trees. And so this is from plants. We're gonna put that up there. Let me scoot this down. Okay, this one right here is also a cardboard box, and this is from trees, and so we're going to say this is from plants because a tree is a type of plant. Okay, over here, now I don't know what kind of shirt this is, but we're going to say it's just like a cotton t-shirt. And if it's a cotton t-shirt, cotton comes from, I'm going to show you guys something really cool since we're on this subject of cotton. Hang on right there. Hang on, hang on. You're in my home, so I can show you all kinds of cool things. This is an actual, this is from an actual cotton tree. And you can look here and you can still see the roots. I don't know if you guys know Mr. J. He teaches marine biology and integrated physics and chemistry or physical science. I'm not sure exactly what he calls it, but he teaches those two classes and for high school at CPC. And this was growing on in his property. And you actually are not allowed to grow cotton on your property unless you have a special permit, because there's some kind of disease that they can get, and they're trying to, you know, with conservation, protect the cotton plants. So unless you have a special permission, you're not allowed to grow cotton on your property. And so he pulled it out and he left it at CPC for people, you know, for me and Mrs. H, because she teaches Texas history, to and history in general, to have this to show our class. And so I just thought it was beautiful because, you know, I'm a science teacher. And I got this jug. It actually had apple cider in it, and we drank the apple cider, and I took the label off. And I did spray it with like a spray Mod Podge so that it wouldn't fall apart. But this is an actual cotton plant. And so I have some buds. I'm gonna show you, hang on one second. I'll have some that are not for display purposes. Okay, I'm coming. See, this one kind of broke, so I'm gonna show you a little bit closer here on this one that's broken. So if you want to make like a cotton t-shirt, you would take this part off. They have these like combs that you would brush, because you can see in here, there's some like seeds inside there. And so you would take these like combs and you would comb, and it would help get these little seeds out. And then once you comb it, then what you would do is you take off a little bit and you would twist it, and then it goes on a spindle and it creates a thread. It pulls it and it turns it into a thread. And then from there, you would take it and you would weave it. And that's how they used to make clothes. They would actually, you know, your mom and your dad, they would actually get cotton like this and they would clean it all up and they would turn it into clothing, which is amazing to me. We are so blessed that we can just go to the store and buy t-shirts, right? But they worked a lot harder on the clothes that they had. So this is part of the cotton, and that's the little pod it came out of. So I'm just gonna push it right back in there. And this is one of our amazing resources that we have that we are able to use. And we do use cotton quite a bit to make different things. So I'm gonna move these things out of my area so that I can sit back down again. I'm gonna put this stuff right over here. Okay, back to our sort. So we know that this cotton, and it looks pretty similar to the cotton that I just showed you. We know that this cotton is from plants. And we know that this cotton t-shirt over here is also from plants. How are we doing? Oh, yes, thank you, Mr. Sylvie. I was putting them in the wrong box. Thank you, Mr. Sylvie, saved the day. Okay, back over here, we have a piece of paper. A piece of paper is from plants. And we have a pencil. And okay, here's the thing about pencils. This is looks like a wooden pencil. The wood part is from plants, right? You could get really technical and say, well, that metal is not from plants, and the graphite is actually from rock, but we're gonna say that this is from plants because the majority of the part that you hold is from plants. Now, my pencil today, none of it is from plants. So, but this one looks like a traditional wooden pencil. And we have a paper clip. And paperclip is from metal, and metal is a mineral that's found in rock. And then we have a book, and a book is made from paper, and that paper comes from trees. So we're gonna put that there. Now, if you look, this section is very crowded. I know instinctually some of you are like, oh, Miss Sylvie, they're not even. Well, I think that's intentional to show you how many things come from plants. I think they're trying to make a point there that a lot of the things that you use come from plants. So go ahead and glue those down now that you have them all sorted. I'm going to give you some time to do that. So go ahead and pause the program to glue down your sort. Can you zoom out a little bit so they can see all of it? There we go. Okay, go ahead and get them glued in and double check your stuff. Okay, boys and girls, if you want to color this, you can do that later also. I always think it's fun to add a little bit of color. What can you say? You know, I like that kind of stuff. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next activity. And this one, actually, you can work here on the next page if you would like to. I'm gonna turn the page because I didn't glue, okay? So I'm just gonna turn the page like that. For this, the plan was to do something called a Thinkpairshare. And I don't know if you've ever done this before. I don't think that I've done it this year. But for this, what we would do in class is I would have you all close your eyes. I would ask you a question and I would let you sit and think about the answer in your head. And then I would have you turn to a partner and tell them what your thoughts were. And so that's kind of a fun way for everyone to be able to have a chance to think about the answer and to share their answer. And then we would all come together and share our answer together. Since we're not in class, we're gonna do the Thinkpairshare together. And so what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you at home, I'm gonna ask you a question, you're gonna think about your answer, and then you're going to say it to me, to the screen, as though I could hear you. Okay, you ready? Mr. Sylvie's giving me funny looks. Okay, all right, here we go. Here's my first question, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think about how you would answer this question. Why are animals important to people? Think about that. Why are animals important to people? Okay, go ahead and open your eyes, and I want you to tell me, and then I will tell you. So we're partnering up, okay? So you tell me, why are animals important to people? Okay, now I'm gonna tell you what I think. So we like animals for companionship, right? Like dogs and cats and, you know, even hamsters and fish. Are they good companions? I mean, we like them for companions, but we also use them for food, right? We like steak and chicken, and our family eats salmon probably once a week. And so we like to have animals for both companionship and for food. So that would be my answer. Was that similar to your answer? Okay, all right. So I have one more question for you, okay? So I'm gonna ask you this question. Go ahead and close your eyes. Close your eyes. Here's the question. What would happen if we had no more animals? What would happen if we had no more animals? Okay, open your eyes and go ahead and tell me your answer. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna tell you my answer, okay? I think that this world would be very sad. I think it would be sad, like I would miss my cat, my pet. And I think that, you know, I mean, I like vegetables and fruit, and I could eat vegetables and fruit, but I think that, you know, like the grass would kind of get overgrown in like all the ranches where they have cows. The grass would probably get overgrown, and you know, does that include bugs too? Because, you know, it's really nice to have frogs that eat bugs and lizards that eat bugs. I know we have lizards in the backyard and they eat our mosquitoes. I really like that. Would that mean that all of those mosquitoes would be there? I don't know. I think the world would be very sad if we didn't have any more animals. And also, if we didn't have any more animals, then that means that we would be eating more fruits and vegetables, which sounds really good, but would we run out of fruits and vegetables to feed all the people? I don't know. I think that might be kind of hard, because I know for me, I have to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables to get full, but I only have to eat one cheeseburger to get full. So I don't know. I think that things would be a lot harder without animals. Okay, so the reason we did that was to kind of have an idea about how important animals are in our world, and that it would be sad if we lost them, right? And I know some animals are endangered, and that's kind of sad that they're endangered. I believe the red panda is, and there's one at the zoo, and it's beautiful. And I think it would be really sad if we lost the red panda. So we want to do everything we can to protect them. And sometimes that means having them in a place like a zoo so that they can reproduce and we can protect them. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a room scavenger hunt. So I want you to think of one room in your house that you're gonna do this scavenger hunt and this is what our scavenger hunt is gonna be. I want you to go in your room and I want you to find all of the animal and plant resources. Okay, so go ahead and take your page like this and separate it in half and write animal on one side and plant on the other side. If we were at school, we would do this in our classroom. And since we're not, you guys get to do this at home. So I think this will be a fun activity for us to do. So go ahead and pause the program if you need more time to write. This is an N, I'm sorry. If you need more time to write your little T chart. Okay, let's do a scavenger hunt. Mr. Sylvie, cameraman, are you ready to follow me around the room? Okay. I hope yours didn't shake out like that. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna come around here into my living room. Now, I think I have talked about this before. This is our heated blanket, and it got kind of chilly this weekend, and so I had that, and I made it at least look kind of neat. So, okay, but this is, it feels, I don't know if it's a natural fabric or not, but I'm gonna put it under here. I'm gonna put it under a plant for a blanket. And it does have wires and things like that in there, but I'm gonna put it there. And this here is our leather ottoman, and we have all these blankets in here. Isn't that nice? I like having this. And we put our feet on here, and you can see Kitty has scratched it, but that's what it's for. It's for, you know, feet and blankets, and it's meant to be used. So, okay, so this one is leather. So it is from an animal. So I'm gonna put, what do we call this? Bench, right? Our bench. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is I have this rug, and it's called a rag rug, and I love this rug because I can just throw it in the washing machine and it can clean it right up. This is my rag rug, and it's kind of fun because you can see it's like a bunch of different rags all woven together, just different cloth. And so this is cotton, and so I'm gonna write this under plants. I'm gonna write my rug there. Okay, and over here is our bean bag, and it's made out of some kind of cloth. And let's say it's cotton. I don't know if it is, but it might be a cotton blend, even if it's a cotton blend. And so I'm gonna put my bean bag. The inside's filled with plastic, which is something different, but that's our bean bag. And let's see what else. Oh, well, look, this is my fireplace, right? What is this made out of? This is made out of wood. So this is my mantle. It's called a mantle. I'm gonna put my mantle there. And, oh, I really like these. These are my candlesticks. They used to be on a porch, and we support this ministry called Mercy Goods, and they're out in Richmond, and I bought these there. And so I'm gonna put my candlesticks because they're made out of wood. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just do one more, okay? Let's see. My floor, even though it looks like wood, it's not. It's ceramic tile, which means it's, oh, my pillows. This is cotton. Oh, but you know what? The ones that Mr. Sylvia is using for his elbows, because he's my cameraman, these actually have feathers in them. So what resource is that? That's animals. So I'm gonna put pillow here because they're filled with feathers. Isn't that cool? You can hear them. Okay, all right. I'm gonna open this up because why not, right? Oh, you can't really. There's no way to, well, oh, here we go. There's a little one sticking out. Look at that, that's a feather. So the feathers are inside. See, it's proof. It's proof, right, Mr. Sylvie? These are the ones he always picks for his elbows, I guess because they're softer. Yeah? I don't know. These are his elbow pillows. They normally are on the couch, but now I'm gonna take you to go see my kitty, because why not, right? Okay, let's look and see the kitty. Here she is. She is lounging by the window, and she's got her own blanket because, you know, she puts fur on it, and I don't really want her fur all over the chair, so then I can just wash it if it gets really bad. But that's her kitty. She's being very lazy today. All right, here we go. So I hope you found some good resources on your scavenger hunt. If you need to pause the program so that you can do your scavenger hunt, feel free to do that, okay? And if you would rather draw pictures instead of write words, you can do that too. I don't know. Okay. All right, Miss Sylvie's done. I did that upside down too. All righty, here we go. The next thing we're gonna do is we are going to create a compost column. And I have a bunch of stuff here. I'm just gonna push it all out of my way. And I'm gonna push this over here. And I'm gonna push that there, and there, that there. You should have this page like this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it straight down the middle in half, so we can do our compost column. Okay, so here's our problem. How can we reuse plant waste? So we want to be good stewards, and sometimes when you use something, you have stuff left over, and so we're going to talk about how we can reuse plant waste. Materials, you need a 2-liter bottle. Now I have already cut off, I've already cut off the top of this 2-liter bottle, and I used a box cutter. I'm gonna show you my box cutter, okay? It's sharp. This is a good job for mom, okay? Something else you could do is you could also, I think this is a good job for moms. You could stab it, get your scissors in there, and cut around, which is a little bit harder to do, but you could do that. So this is our 2-liter bottle with the top cut off, and I pretty much cut it off where it stopped sloping and then it went straight down. Okay, so we have this little tube like this. So it says cut the top off the 2-liter bottle. Number 2, layer soil, brown waste, and food waste. Number 3, spray compost with water. Number 4, take the temperature. Number 5, cover with foil. Number 6, poke small holes in the foil. Number 7, take the temperature each week. Hypothesis, if we layer soil, brown waste, and food waste in a compost column, then what do we think will happen? I just want to be clear about what the brown waste is. So I realized that may sound like toilet waste. And we're not talking about toilet waste, okay? We're talking about like leaves, okay? I cleaned up my yard today, and so I got some leaves and some grass out. This is what I'm talking about, okay? So I just want to be clear about what brown waste is. I don't want you guys thinking, ew, Miss Sylvie, what are we talking about? That's not what we're talking about. Okay, all right, so hypothesis. If we layer brown waste, soil, brown waste, and food waste in a compost column, and then I want you to write down what you think is gonna happen. What will happen to our food waste? What will happen, maybe you have some ideas about what will happen to the temperature. So go ahead and answer that question right there. Okay, boys and girls, so you have your hypothesis written. If not, pause the program. But you have your hypothesis written, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and build our compost column. So we have this here like this, and I'm gonna put some soil in first, okay? I don't know why that fell off the side, so some soil. And then I'm going to put some of my brown material. So that's like my leaves. I have some leaves from outside, some grass. I have some weird stuff, like scratch or something. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I have my leaves. And next I'm gonna put, so we've been kind of collecting these for a couple days. I have a banana peel. I have an avocado peel. I have, this is coffee grounds. We've been making coffee in a French press since we were at home and we have time. And so I grind up the coffee beans. Like you can see some of them, that didn't get ground up very well. But those are our coffee beans, and coffee beans come from plants, right? And then I have a grapefruit peel. My husband likes to peel grapefruit. I don't really like to peel grapefruit. I like to cut it in half and scoop it out, but he likes to peel it. And then he peels off the pit, you know, this part right here. He peels those off, that for there anyway. And then, and my husband also, this is, believe it or not, this is an apple core, but he eats it almost all the way down. I don't know why he does that. And then this is the top of a jalapeno that he ate. He put that on his burger. He sliced it up and put it on his burger that we made the other day. So this is some of our food waste, and all of this comes from plants. And you do not want to put any animal products in your compost. No dairy, so no cheese, no milk, no eggs, no beef. All of that will make it very, very yucky. So you do not want to put any animal waste or any animal products in your compost column. So we're only going to put our plant-based stuff. So I'm actually going to take this avocado peel and tear it up. I don't know why. I just feel like this, maybe I'll do half of it torn up and half of it not, and we'll see if that made a difference at the end. I probably will, like there's a little bit of avocado in there. Let's leave this one whole just to see what happens. And I'm just gonna use my hands. I'm gonna put some coffee grounds in there like that. And I'm gonna tear up the banana peel. Give it a chance to really break down. I feel like maybe that'll help it break down faster. Maybe in the next layer, we'll put a bigger piece and see if ripping it up helps. I'm gonna do his apple core. I'm gonna do some of the grapefruit peels, okay? And I'm gonna give all of this a good spray. Like 8, something like that. Oh, you want that in there? Did I say I was gonna put that in there and I didn't? No, you just think it should go in there right now? Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna do another layer of soil. Like that. And let me give that a couple sprays. I don't know, like 8 maybe? And then I'm gonna get some more brown material. And there's like some mud in here. And I don't know what that is. Like that. Okay. And I'm gonna do the big peel. Let's see how that breaks down compared to the other. And then I'm just gonna put the rest of this all in here. Okay. And then I'm gonna do one last layer of soil, kind of top it all off. And then lots of sprays. It's kind of dry in there. My soil has been sitting in the garage, and so it's kind of dry. I'm gonna give this a good shake. I read somewhere that, like, okay, so they make these compost bins that you can turn. And they say that oxygenating your compost is really important. So we just added all this, so I don't feel like I really need to oxygenate it. But since we're gonna be looking at this once a week, what I might do is just kind of stick like a wooden spoon in there, maybe even like an upside down wooden spoon, and stirring it just to kind of give it a little bit of oxygen. Or I might just, you know, give it a couple little bounces, like this banana peel wants to come to the top. Go down there, go down there. Okay, all right, so there's our compost column. And go ahead. I don't know if your hands are as dirty as mine if you're making this at home. Maybe you're not, maybe you're just watching, and that's totally fine. If your hands are dirty as mine, you might want to go and wash them. And so I'm gonna do that real quick. And while I'm doing that, you can pause the program to wash yours. While I'm doing that, go ahead and make a diagram of the lab. Draw a picture of what you see. And what you might want to include in your picture is the different layers. So if you have, oh yeah, it's important for them to see, right? So what you might want to do, and there we did soil, yard waste, food waste, soil, yard waste, food waste, soil. Layers, like a lasagna, but not, but dirt. Okay, so yeah, yard waste is probably better than brown waste. We should probably refer to it as yard waste. My apologies. Okay. All right, so draw your diagram. And if you look here at this other paper here, I'm gonna switch the papers out. It's asked for the temperature, day 1's temperature. And so I'm gonna pop out the thermometer. And we're gonna take the temperature, and I'm gonna just run it along the side here. And remember we use the metric system for science, and so we are gonna get the temperature in Celsius. Celsius science. Okay, so I'm looking here. Okay, can you see it there? And so each one of those lines is worth 1. So see how it's above the 20? We're going to count up each one of those lines, and I think, is the temperature dropping on there? Oh, it is, it's going down, probably because the water, I'm waiting for it to stop moving. Okay, I think it's done moving. So I think it's on 24. Do you guys see that? Oh, is that good, Mr. Sylvie? Cameraman? Yes, you can see it? Okay. And so I think it's on 24. You see the little dashes? And if you look at the 20 and then you count up, there's 4 dashes. Yeah? No? He's looking at me funny. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure. Yes? Is that what it looks like on the camera? No? Okay, yes. Okay, I got a yes. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this down since we read our thermometer together. I'm gonna take my pencil and we're gonna write 20. Remember, I'm writing upside down. Maybe that's not a good idea. 24 degrees Celsius. So this is how you would write it. 24, and then this little circle means degrees, and then we're gonna write a capital C for Celsius. So this shows us our units, because if we write 24, well, what is that? Is it 24 degrees Fahrenheit? Is it 24 degrees Kelvin? Did you guys even know there was a Kelvin measurement? There is. And so it's very important to have your unit of measurement so that if someone comes along behind you and they look at your information, they're able to tell what happened. So these questions we're gonna answer after day 21. So wow, this is a lot. We'll do this next week and the week after and the week after. And then probably what I'll do at on day 21, I will probably dump all of this out on a piece of newspaper. And so you can see all of this and how everything broke down, and we'll really be able to look at it and analyze it. Okay. And I think I'm just going to leave the thermometer in there for now. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a piece of foil and I'm actually going to stab like that. And wrap it around like that. And then poke some holes like that, okay? And so it's getting oxygen. It's getting oxygenated, right? We don't want to totally seal it up, but we're also probably going to give it a good stir. And if you want to adjust your diagram to show the thermometer and the foil, you can. I think it's really important to show the layers in your diagram. So, and make sure to label those layers in your diagram so that if you ever wanted to do this again in the future, you could have that, okay? All right. So there's our compost column. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is your homework. This is your homework here. And this is going to be to watch the Magic School Bus in the Rainforest. It should be on Netflix or YouTube. And these are the questions that go along with it. I'm also sending the answers for the last one in an email to your mom. So if you want to check it, you can. And it looks like they're celebrating Earth Day in the video. And Earth Day is in April 22nd. Mr. Sylvie says he says maybe. It's this month. Bonus points if you can find it. Although I don't really keep track of points, but anyway. Okay, it's this month. So go ahead and check this out. This video, I always like Magic School Bus, and this kind of helps you focus on the science part of it. And it's about chocolate. And we all love chocolate, right? Yes, chocolate is delicious. Okay, for this, you're gonna take this, you're gonna fold it in half. You're gonna take your lab notebook. You're gonna turn to your next, I have all kinds of things in here. Your next blank page, and you're gonna glue this in like this, okay? So that you have this as part of your record. And if you wanna do it after you watch the video, that is a-okay. But make sure that it gets in your notebook, okay? And I read a book, and there is a video, and it's about a little girl who did a very good job of using her resources wisely. She used a cardboard box again and again and again and again and again. So listen to the story and see if you can see how many times she used that one cardboard box, which is kind of remarkable. And then see where the cardboard box ends up, because it kind of goes along pretty well with what we're doing here with this. In fact, I almost kind of want to take a little piece of cardboard and rip it up and put it in here and see what happens. Should I do that? Do you guys think I should do that? Mr. Sylvie's looking at me a little crazy. He says, I don't know. Is there a cardboard box right there, Mr. Sylvie? Oh, I put it away. Oh, I've been cleaning, guys, so I don't even know where my cardboard boxes are. You know what I'll do later? I will add it to the compost column after the video. So I'm gonna take a little piece, probably about that big, and I'll put it in there so we can kind of keep an eye on it. And next week we can kind of look and see how it's doing. Since I have you here at my home and we talked about plants and animals, and I showed you my animal that lives in my home, and I would like to show you my strawberry plant. I showed it to you last week, and I want to show you what's going on with it now. Now remember, we're competing with the birds because it's outside. So let me show you what's happening with our strawberry plant at this time. Now Kitty is right by the door and she loves to go outside, and she's getting better about not just running. Oh look, she's all alert. She's like, oh, what's happening? I don't want you outside. Okay, I don't want you outside. Okay. So we're gonna sneak out here and I'm gonna give her a little to stay in. Okay, here's my strawberry plant. Look, look, look. Look how pretty it's getting. It's all pink there, not ready to eat yet. And then this one, look, the seeds almost even look kind of pink. And then look at this one right here. Look how pretty it is. Now I actually twisted it down and I buried it a little bit because I don't want the birds to find it. See this? Do y'all know what that is? I think that's bird poop, which means the birds are paying attention to. And I don't like that. So, oh, I just heard a bird. He's probably squawking at me because he feels like I'm touching his strawberry plant. So, I mean, I have a bird feeder for them. So I don't know what their deal is and why they think they're entitled to my strawberries. But what I might end up doing is I might end up taking that top of the 2-liter and putting it here on over the strawberries to kind of protect them for the birds. But I don't know if that will actually work. Look how bright and red those seeds are. So interesting. This was a very nice gift from a friend. All right, boys and girls, that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Please know that I am thinking of you and praying for you and your families. And I will see you next week right here on YouTube. Bye.